Hi, everybody. It is Friday, January 14th, and I'm just going to check in again, just kind of give you a short update. um, yeah, we're at a stage now of the Great Awakening, called the Great Awakening, uh, of basically getting our freedom back. So, if you kind of noticed around the world, everybody's pushing back as much as we can. The problem with that is everybody needs to have like a breaking point. Everybody needs to be pushed so far until they get upset. The interesting part about that is it's it, it's kind of a two-edged sword for humanity. The way we behave, we're really quite. Um, we're, in some ways, we're easygoing. We'll just like we'll comply and we'll get along with everybody as much as possible. We're willing to bend, we're willing to compromise. But then there's also a point where it's like, well, you can only do it for so long. You know, it's like it's like we're an easygoing race, and we're willing to adapt to fit in and things like that. And some of those qualities are good, but when you just keep just blindly following people or just trying to conform just to fit in, whether it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, is just where we have to draw the line. I mean, this whole thing is it's a bit shocking when you stand back and look at it, because it's like it's and you've seen lots of memes on it, because it's a few people that are controlling millions and millions of people. So it's like whatever they say, we have to obey them. It's like that doesn't make any sense, especially here in the United States, where I'm I'm shocked it's gotten this far, because it's like, what about freedom of choice? What about my body, my choice? And you guys know where I'm coming from on this. It's like, feel free to take as much protection as you want, and if you want to hide in your car and get a lot of shots or whatever, I have to still steer around saying things without getting this video taken down. But you know what I mean? It's like it should be just a freedom of choice. We shouldn't be forced to do anything, especially in a free, you'd think was a free country. Um, anyway, so it's gotten this far that people have to push back. So, and that's happening around the world. And we're taking our freedoms back, whatever way we can. Um, then I kind of want to shift gears and talk to you guys about the ET thing going on as well. And I know I've been kind of touching on this subject for a few years, and the reason why you can tell is when you're over the target or you're saying something truthful, is the videos get taken down a lot. And me, early on, I'd say probably about a year and a half ago, I started being, it's not too honest, but I was cutting to the chase a little too much. I was like, you know what, I'm going to tell you guys what's really going on. And I would bring up, for instance, the topic of off-world influences and things like that. And I would never seem to be able to load that video up, or because you got to remember, whenever I make this video, it goes, I call it going to head office, but it goes to whoever's managing YouTube. And as you know, if they don't want people to hear something, they'll just arbitrarily will just take that video down or whatever. So that's kind of what was happening in the past. But I notice now I'm venturing out and I'm starting to say things a little more on target to what's going on, and they're letting it go more and more. So I'm not sure if who's involved in restricting that, or but as you know, as you noticed for sure, it's like we're being censored constantly. And I'm not sure if it's because they want a slow rollout of the truth, or I mean, for sure they're going to block it as much as possible. But anyway, as crazy as this sounds, I mean, that's really a big part of what's going on here. Is that's that's the bigger truth that they've been hiding. Is you know, yeah, it's like we're being manipulated by outside forces, sort of, if you know what I mean. We've got. I'm going to just simplify it again as much as possible. We have sort of like good ETs, people that are, you know, beings that are helping us, and things they're restricted their because of their own rules. It's like well, they can't interfere with people's free will. So you got people that are trying to help us, but they can't because they can't interfere with our free will. And then you have negative entities that completely ignore that rule and completely try to take over and control us. So it seems like they've been winning. Well, they have. They've been kind of winning for thousands and millions of years. Well, now we're getting to push back, and we're going to be taking our freedom back with the good ET's help. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is the good ETs are kind of watching us right now, going, so can you guys please stand up for yourselves, please? Because they can't do too much. It's like they kind of nudge us in that direction. It's like, yeah, you should probably say no to this one, and you should probably stand up against these guys. They're sort of nudging us, but they can't physically do that job for us. It's up to us to do it. So we have to make a stand. I mean, I do mine more in the soft way. I just don't comply. I'm not going to do it, period. And from time to time, I'll go there with if there's going to be a rally or something, and I'll try to be a part of it and say, yeah, we want our freedoms back, and don't push us too far. It always depends on how many of our rights get taken away, to how much it's going to upset people enough to go to the streets and stand up for their rights. That's kind of what we're doing right now. So I want to also assure you guys, because I get telepathic messages, not all the time, but a few times a week, and they tell me kind of what's going on, and it's what's happening is they've done the lion's share of the work, but now they're just kind of watching to see our reactions. So we're kind of being watched and encouraged to stand up for ourselves. And I've always kind of used that example. It's like a father that has been watching a bully pick on his son, and he's not gonna. I mean, obviously he's got the force to just come between his son and the bully and say, hey, look, stay away from my kid, whatever. But part of this training, sort of, not training, but part of the education is that father wants that son to be able to stick up for himself against a bully. And so he's encouraging him, but he can't do the job. He's like, okay, just I'll even tell you what, just stand up against him and don't back up. Don't stand down or whatever, and don't take his guff or whatever. That's kind of what we're going through right now. Is like we've got to stand up for ourselves, and then this will be over. Really, and that's kind of what I'm saying here. Is people are like, oh, this is dragging on so long. This is like, what's going on? You know why? Because we've been trained into a savior type of mentality. We're waiting for someone to come in here and come between that bully and us and say enough is enough. But part of this teaching program, sort of, I'm going to go on to that more in the future, is we're sort of shown you can do it ourselves. We can do it ourselves. We don't need help. We have the power. We have the majority. We can do this, sort of. So anyway, that's kind of what stage we're at right now. And I also want to say that now I know that I'm sort of getting this feeling that I can start talking openly. I have a lot of notes and downloads that they've been telling me over the last year and a half. And I'm going to start sharing them. And kind of my small job, and like I said, I'm just a part of this, is just to try to help people wake up to what's kind of going on. And to me, I have to use discernment as well, because I've got a lot of information, but I have to figure out, okay, how can I do to try to, and I always try to simplify things. My lessons is lessons, but I mean, the information I'm telling people, I'm trying to simplify it, because even for me, I just don't want to get the really complicated version, the long version. I want to get kind of the shortcut or the simplified version of what's going on. So I've got that. I've got a lot of, like, okay, I'll simply explain this as best I can, the situation we're in, human beings are like, I'll just give you a quick synopsis, but I mean, we're a captured species, sort of, and we've been dummied down, we've been lied to, we've had our freedoms taken away as much as possible. We're being controlled, especially through money, as you notice. It's a big control system. We set up. We all work for money, which is completely wrong. It's a completely weird situation. Um, so anyway, we're breaking out of that, and yes, we're being manipulated, and it's. I could say this simply, without freaking people out, is is because we are in these physical avatars, a human body, and our spirit goes inside of it. Well, that same system, our controllers know it. Our people that are, not people, but the entities that are controlling us do the exact. That's exactly what they do. It's like a negative being entering into a physical body, avatar, and using it to have this worldly power structure to tell everybody what to do and to control everybody. That's kind of going on a lot. And then the people that are weak enough to fall for it, just an average person with this, just a human being with a regular spirit in it, they can be bullied, blackmailed, paid off to be a part of this system. And that's been kind of going on for thousands and thousands of years. So they've been controlling us. So, and if you noticed throughout history, anybody that tries to speak up against them gets either taken out or silenced or ridiculed, whatever. So that's kind of what's been going on. That's a simplified version. But anyway, I'm going to, as this time goes forward, I'm going to explain this more in detail. So I'm just we're all waiting. All of us truthers out there, all the starseeds that came here, because we actually came here to help out. And it sounds bizarre right now, but honestly, a year from now, you're gonna go, okay, I get it now. So, but we're here to help, and it's the truth is coming out more and more and more about this. So, I look forward to it because I mean, I've got a lot of good information to share with people, and I'm waiting, just like everybody else, for the controllers to be taken down to the point where we can speak openly about these things. And a lot of it's going to sound crazy, and also there's a lot of disinformation we have to sort out as well, including stuff that I've fallen for. A few of these traps too. It's like, I wonder if that's true or not. Like, I hear a lot of disinformation too, but the best way to discern that is kind of how I look at it is it's going to, again, I'm always trying to simplify, but discernment in a sense is almost like memory. It's kind of like you're really deep down, and that's why it's more spiritual memory. You'll find out if that rings true or not. You go, I wonder if I remember that. I wonder if that's true or not. Like you'll hear something. It's like, did you know that whatever? And the best way to lie to people is to wrap it up with a little bit of truth. So you'll see a lot of that happening out there. They'll say, stuff like, well, if apples taste good, did you know that, then they'll try to link it to that. They'll say, okay, well, if apples taste good and this guy really likes apples, then he's probably a good guy. It's a goofy example, but I'm just saying they can't just say, okay, this guy's just a bad guy and he hates chocolate, and everybody's like, oh, well, so obviously he's not a nice person because he doesn't like dogs or cats and he doesn't like candy. They don't. That's not going to be obvious. They have to wrap it up with something like, wow, this guy seems like he's a really nice guy, and he's given to charity and whatever, so he's probably on the good guy's side. There's that sort of going on, so you got to kind of be careful. And what I mean by discernment is like I said, it's kind of based on our spiritual memory. We'll sort of like go, I'm gonna take that information in, and I was gonna go, ah, that just doesn't seem right. And I'm not. It's not even that, as if you figure it out yet either. It's like I just got a bad feeling about that. It's like doesn't seem. It's not quite right or something. Well, that's kind of what's going on right now. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, so if they're trying to help us, why are people still getting sick, and why are they forcing that on you? Like, just that just doesn't make sense. That's kind of those. That's how you start figuring things out. They're just like things just don't seem right. Then kind of stay away from it. And then if even with whatever I'm saying, you should take it with a grain of salt too, and discern it. But if it sounds right to you, then it's like, wait a minute, I think that's a good point, and I think that resonates with me, or that feels like that's true. I don't know. But even if you go uh, down that road or whatever, like what I'm saying is, you still always should just question things. Like even what I'm telling you, just say, I wonder, is he does he know what he's talking about? Is he, you know? So, and I'm just telling you, okay, from my perspective, it's more like I'm remembering as things go forward. So to me, they'll resonate quicker probably to the average person because I think most people don't really think deeply about things. They don't go down the rabbit hole. They're not critical thinkers. So for me, I can kind of discern things just a little quicker because I go, no, not gonna fall for that one. Like, it's just because I'm aware, I'm kind of awake to especially I'm aware of the traps too out there. So it's like, I don't know, it doesn't sound right to me. One of the main ways to find that out, especially during this particular time, is fear. If anything's got fear in it, it's probably not right. Because honestly, you can't, truth isn't based on fear, and it isn't based on negativity. It's basically positive, and it's more calming, if you know what I'm saying. So that's why it's a little opposite of this, because lies are usually, they're whether it's candy coated or not, it's still based on negative and sort of this sort of fearful aspect to it. So that's the main way you can tell for now, anyway, to keep going forward. But I'm gonna start sharing anyway. I'm just sorry, I keep going on, but I'm gonna start sharing with you guys what I've learned to date, and I've been kind of testing it out, not only to see if it's true or not. I sort of look for validation a lot on a lot of things, and as we go forward, let's figure this out together. Let's figure out like what's going on. That's kind of what the stage we're at right now, for sure. Okay, anyway, I don't want to go on too long. So that's what I got for today, and I'll keep making videos every once in a while. As you know, it's not any schedule or anything. I'm just as I'm inspired, but I just want you to know that I'm still out there and I'm trying to help everybody wake up. Okay, that's it for today. Bye. Talk to you later.